Now speaking, Todd McKinnon, co-founder and chief executive officer. Okta continues to be the leading independent identity partner with its two clouds, one Okta strategy. Despite increased pressure in the macroeconomic environment, strong non-GAAP operating profit and record cash flow were achieved through efficiency and profitability improvements. Attrition in the go-to-market team has decreased significantly over the past 3 quarters and average tenure is increasing. Over 450 new customers were added in the quarter, including 150 with $100,000 plus ACV, and 300 with $1 million plus ACV. Cross-selling between Workforce Identity Cloud and Customer Identity Cloud continues to show success, as evidenced by wins with Indeed and NerdWallet. Okta made product advancements to FastPass, Identity Engine, and Privileged Access. Technology partnerships with Google and Zoom have been formed. A new partner program, Elevate, was unveiled to recognize and reward partners for their value. Eugenio Pace, co-founder of Auth0, was appointed President of Business Operations, and Shivane Ramji will now lead Customer Identity Cloud. Despite the macro-related pressure, Okta is well-positioned to deliver a unified platform covering both customer identity and workforce identity across access management, governance, and privileged access for profitable growth over the long term. Now speaking, Brett Tighe, Chief Financial Officer. Okta reported strong Q1 revenue growth of 25%, driven by a 26% increase in subscription revenue. Subscription revenue represented 97% of total revenue and international revenue grew 23%. Net retention rate for the trailing 12-month period remained strong at 117% and dollar-based RPO grew 20%. Operating expenses for the quarter were lower than expected due to revenue overperformance and better than expected outcomes from spend efficiency measures. Free cash flow margin was 24% including cash outlay related to organizational restructuring. Equity dilution for FY23 finished better than expected at less than 3.5%. For Q2, Okta expects total revenue of $533 million to $535 million, representing growth of 18%, current RPO of $1.71 billion to $1.72 billion, representing growth of 14% to 15%, non-GAAP operating income of $36 million to $38 million, and non-GAAP diluted net income per share of 21 cents to 22 cents. For FY24, they expect revenue of $2.175 billion to $2.185 billion, representing growth of 17% to 18%, non-GAAP operating income of $161 million to $170 million, yielding a non-GAAP operating margin of approximately 7% to 8%, non-GAAP net income per share of 88 cents to 93 cents, and free cash flow margin of approximately 12%. Piper Sandler analyst Rob Owens inquired, "Can you explain the disconnect between crypto and annual revenue, with crypto trending in the opposite direction? Is the 14 to 15% guide a low water mark for the back half of the year?" Todd McKinnon replied, "Rob, I'm encouraged by our quarter's performance. Our customer base is strong with healthy gross renewals and we're seeing growing momentum in identity conversations. We've been monitoring Salesforce attrition and CIC deals, both of which are improving. Larger deals over $1 million and customers crossing the $1 million ACV threshold are up 40%, indicating positive growth. Despite the macro backdrop, there's a lot to be positive about." Brett Tighe replied, "I think it's important to remember that our current RPO is being impacted by macroeconomic pressures and execution challenges from FY23. We're being mindful of this and are doing our best to navigate these issues in order to ensure growth for the future." UBS analyst Roger Boyd inquired, "Could you please provide an overview of how the sales cycles, pipeline, etc. have impacted your guidance for the first month of 2Q? Todd McKinnon replied, "Pipeline activity for our identity solutions remains strong, evidenced by an average deal size that has ticked down from prior quarters. We've seen a lot of enthusiasm from customers about the value of identity solutions and how they can help them become more secure, efficient, and digital. However, due to increased scrutiny on purchase decisions, some deals have been delayed or slipped from the end of the quarter. Many of those deals have now closed in Q2, which demonstrates continued confidence in our solutions despite macroeconomic uncertainty." Wolfe Research analyst Josh Tilton inquired, "Brett, did macro headwinds increase or stay the same since Q4? Brett Tighe replied, "Q4 saw a continued trend of new business versus upsell mix being more heavily weighted towards upsells and contract duration being lower than previous quarters. Additionally, we have seen reduced seat expansions on both the workforce side and the customer identity side. This decrease is broad-based across geographies and customer segments. We are now seeing less expansion not just in small and medium-sized businesses, but also in enterprise-level companies. Wolf Research analyst Josh Tilton inquired, what is the revenue guidance for the full year and how does it assume current conditions going forward? What should we expect from CRPO numbers and year-over-year comps with Auth0 in the mix? Brett Tai replied, absolutely, the guidance we've given assumes a potential worsening of the macro environment. Both the current revenue per opportunity and revenue sides have been factored into our forecasts. When it comes to comparison to prior years, there is still an impact from the execution challenges we faced in FY 23. However, we're being mindful of the current macro situation and how it has evolved over the past few quarters when evaluating the remainder of the year. Todd McKinnon replied, Auth0 was in our comps last year, making it a like-for-like comparison. Raymond James analyst Adam Tyndall inquired, can you comment on the changing pricing environment and how Okta is competing now versus years ago? Todd McKinnon replied, our win rates remain strong and our average deal size has only ticked down slightly, while the unit price stays consistent. We have found that our rigorously analyzed data does not reflect the narrative we are hearing, so we will continue to focus on building the best products for identity use cases and selling them as we are currently. Our strategy is based on quantitative and qualitative data such as customer success, traction in our customer identity cloud, and the appeal of our access management product and innovations like FastPass. We are confident this is a winning strategy and will keep executing it. Raymond James analyst Adam Tyndall inquired, is the new strategy to replace Susan, or does the management change with Eugenio reflect a different approach? Todd McKinnon replied, thanks for the question, Sterling. We are actively searching for a go-to-market president who can help us take the company from $2 billion in ARR to $10 billion over the next several years. The team we have in place is doing a great job in the interim, with John Addison as Chief Revenue Officer, Eric Kelleher leading marketing and customer success, and Eugenio taking on an important role. We want to ensure that our strategy and operations of growth are operationally excellent, which includes automation projects and technology IT initiatives. We're confident we'll find the right person for this key role, and we're on track to do so. MoffettNathanson analyst Billy Fitzsimmons inquired, what opportunities do you see for Okta in the generative AI and identity spaces with the increasing emergence of AI applications? Todd McKinnon replied, I'm excited to share that AI is a major trend in our business. We have built products like Threat Insight and Security Center to leverage AI algorithms and massive datasets to protect customers from threats. We are also experimenting with using AI to generate the configuration and policy setup of Okta across applications quickly and accurately. On top of all this, we're also positioning ourselves to serve as an identity provider for thousands of AI-driven applications. This provides an incredible opportunity for us to be the supplier of picks and shovels to gold miners in this new technology age. D.A. Davidson analyst Rudy Kessinger inquired, what more can you do to prevent deceleration in growth and potentially even re-accelerate growth, given a challenging macroeconomic environment? Todd McKinnon replied, I'm happy to take the question. We've made a lot of progress this year with improving operations, sales attrition, and rep productivity. We're continuing to make improvements across the board in everything from product development to go-to-market operations. When we see our macro trends turn positive, such as an improvement in new business to upsell mix and deal size, then we'll feel confident that the business can exceed our guidance. Brett Tai replied, I'm pleased to say that we remain committed to our profitable growth philosophy. This quarter demonstrates this with margins of 24%, a 21-point improvement in free cash flow and strong non-GAAP operating margin. We are focused on sustainable and responsible growth, while maximizing profitability. William Blair & Company analyst Jonathan Ho inquired, can you provide an update on the progress of the sales transition and productivity levels? What remains to be done at this point? Todd McKinnon replied, Jonathan, the big changes we made in Q2 of last year to clarify our positioning for Workforce Identity Cloud and Customer Identity Cloud have been resonating positively. We see this in qualitative conversations with customers and analysts, as well as quantitative evidence such as the number of sales reps doing deals in the new product suite. We're continually improving our go-to-market efforts to maximize effectiveness, including driving more demand generation, optimizing leads and opportunities, and ensuring the sales team is executing effectively. With strong retention and ramped-up productivity, we're confident that these changes are having a positive impact. Brett Tai replied, we saw strong cross-selling in the quarter, particularly between WIC and CIC products. This was one of our fastest-growing areas and contributed to our growth. Our go-to-market team has a great understanding of how to deliver value to customers and it's paying off. Guggenheim Partners analyst Ray McDonough inquired. Todd, how has bringing IGA and PAM together impacted the adoption of IGA? Is there any delay or hesitancy in customers purchasing IGA due to waiting for the full release of PAM? Todd McKinnon replied, Okta Identity Governance, IGA, has been a great success, exceeding original goals and expectations. It's being used by hundreds of customers, including those with large enterprises. Additionally, IGA is often being deployed alongside existing solutions as well as replacing existing solutions, something we didn't anticipate. We're also seeing that people are not waiting for the integration between IGA and Privileged Access Management, PAM, before using IGA. Instead, we expect the integration between IGA and PAM to drive uptake of PAM because it will enable access certification, reporting, and visibility across all resources, such as servers and Kubernetes, while providing governance capabilities. Stifel Financial Corporation analyst Adam Borg inquired, what are Okta's plans for expanding their partnerships in the federal vertical, and where are you investing the most? Todd McKinnon replied, our vertical in the government space is a key area of growth for us. We have recently been awarded the DoD's .military instance and FedRAMP High, both of which are major catalysts for our business. This includes not only federal but also state and local opportunities. We have seen many large projects coming from states over the last few quarters, and we have a big goal for federal this year. We have invested heavily in this area and are confident that it will exceed expectations. Brett Ty replied, I'm pleased to report that our federal segment has been our fastest growing in FY 23, and this momentum has continued into the current year. We were thrilled to welcome the U.S. Air Force Recruiting Service as a customer earlier this year. Our focus on this segment is continuing to pay off and we're looking forward to the long-term opportunities it presents. Wells Fargo Securities analyst Stefan Schwartz inquired, what customer feedback has PAM received since launching its beta program? Todd McKinnon replied, this product has been released into beta 6 weeks ago, and we've seen customers use it to manage dynamic environments with containers and cloud instances. Our access management primitives like passwordless authentication and anti-phishing have been key features that our users have found useful. We are off to a very good start with this offering, but the next wave of customers will be more broadly selected, giving us valuable feedback on the product. Wells Fargo Securities analyst Stefan Schwartz inquired, what are the expected timelines for onboarding more customers? Todd McKinnon replied, I am pleased to say that we are on track for the end of the year general accounting, GA, goals. Jefferies analyst Joe Gallo inquired, Todd, can you provide an update on the performance of CHAM versus Workforce? Additionally, what is the sales force's comfortability selling CHAM? Todd McKinnon replied, the interest in our products is consistent across both Workforce and Customer Identity customers. We have seen 18,000 plus customers adopt Okta, and our sales reps are doing a great job of driving deals and new customers. Quantitatively, we can see that the macro impacts are impacting both use cases equally, which gives us confidence that it's macro-related. Our average deal size has been smaller than usual and there has been a tilt toward upsells versus new business. Brett Ty replied, I'm pleased to report that the cross-selling of our CIC product into other customer types has been a strong contributor to intra and inter-cloud sales. This is a positive sign for the successful execution of our organization. Macquarie Group analyst Fred Havemeyer inquired, economic trends. Could you please tell us more about the impact of the current economic climate on the company's performance? Could you explain how the current economic climate is affecting the company's performance? Macquarie Group analyst Fred Havemeyer inquired, could you please provide more insight on what is driving the macro headwinds? Is it layoffs, cost control, or something else? Brett Ty replied, the Workforce Identity Cloud and Customer Identity Cloud are both experiencing customer seat expansions and reductions, as well as shorter contract durations. This can be attributed to customers being more thoughtful about the macroeconomic uncertainty when entering into contracts. We're also hearing reports of budget reductions and slower CFO/procurement closure times. Overall, it appears customers are taking a cautious approach with their commitments. Robert W. Baird & Company analyst Shrenik Kothari inquired, can you provide more insight into how the mix of greenfield and replacement opportunities is trending compared to last quarter for Workforce Identity Cloud spend? Todd McKinnon replied, our IGA product is off to a strong start, with hundreds of customers, and our assumption is that it would be more greenfield. Surprisingly, it's being installed next to legacy deployments and we've seen a few replacements as well. We think there's a big opportunity for us to grow the IGA market with our great product. Early trends are very encouraging and we're optimistic that it will continue to move the needle in the future. Scotiabank analyst Joe Vandrick inquired Dave. Should we expect a similar uplift in customer spend for those who adopt PAM once it's rolled out? Todd McKinnon replied, yes, I believe it is realistic to expect a 1/3 increase in revenue from PAM. We have studied hundreds of customers and our analysis shows that the pricing of PAM would contribute this much to overall growth. However, we need to see real results in the market before we can be as confident as we are about Okta identity governance. Bank of America Merrill Lynch analyst Madeline Brooks inquired, can you provide a range for the impact of Auth0 integration on crypto? Brett Ty replied, yes, I'm referring to the impact associated with our customer identity cloud sales last year. Our sales figures show a positive trend and we expect that momentum to continue in the upcoming quarter. Bank of America Merrill Lynch analyst Madeline Brooks inquired, could you explain the impact that selling issues have had on crypto growth this year? Brett Ty replied, I understand. We experienced a headwind on both revenue and crypto due to execution issues. However, we are confident that we have successfully turned the corner and had a strong quarter. Unfortunately, I cannot provide the exact percentage. Bank of America Merrill Lynch analyst Madeline Brooks inquired, given the macro environment, are you expecting to see any slowdown in customer transformation projects? How is the conservatism in your forecast taking this into account? Brett Ty replied, the guidance right now assumes a worse outlook in both product lines due to the impacts already seen. That's our current thinking going forward. BMO Capital Markets analyst Keith Bachman inquired, can Brett please discuss the net retention rate over the next few quarters and how new products such as IGA and PAM might help improve it? Brett Ty replied, in terms of net retention rate, we expected a decline from 120 to 117 due to macroeconomic conditions, as well as fewer new customers added in FY 23. However, our gross retention rate remains steady in the mid-90% range. We do anticipate headwinds to continue and a further decrease in net retention throughout FY 24. We have initiatives underway with OIG and PAM, but it will take time for those to offset the seat expansions this year. Todd McKinnon replied, the upsell opportunity for our products this year lies in selling workforce identity or customer identity to an existing customer. This amplifies the impact of our PAM and IGA offerings, which could change in the future. BMO Capital Markets analyst Keith Bachman inquired, can you provide an outlook on crypto growth? Is this the bottom, or is it too early to tell? Brett Ty replied, as the macro environment is constantly in flux, we are taking a wait-and-see approach to our plans and will update you as new information becomes available. Goldman Sachs analyst Gabriela Borges inquired, Brett, could you explain the contribution of seat count growth and classic upsell to net retention over the past couple of years compared to cross-sell? Brett Ty replied, seat expansion was a challenge for us in Q1, causing both growth and net retention to slow. We anticipate this to remain a headwind as we move forward. Cross-sell had a decent quarter, but seats on both the workforce and customer sides of the business have been an issue. We expect this to remain a headwind throughout FY 24. Goldman Sachs analyst Gabriela Borges inquired, what is the typical contribution to MAUs from classic upsell in a normal year? Brett Ty replied, our revenue streams have been a balanced mix between the two. We haven't seen one dominate over the other, but rather a balance of the two. KeyBank Capital Markets analyst Eric Heath inquired, Dave, what are your thoughts on Microsoft's new CAM product and how do you think it will affect the competitive landscape? Todd McKinnon replied, I am not familiar with the recent announcement, but I understand that customer identity and workforce identity are distinct concepts. Customer identity focuses on developing a great experience for developers and having the necessary integrations, while workforce identity is more about identity for email and security. This requires two separate muscles to be successful, which our company has achieved. Cleveland research company analyst Brian Wilcox inquired, could you discuss the contribution of cloud marketplace transactions and your outlook for this channel in light of customers using it to reduce cloud commitments? Todd McKinnon replied, we've seen great success in the AWS marketplace, as customers appreciate they can spend their enterprise credits on Okta. We believe this resonates with our partners because of our neutrality and independence. Our ability to work with a broad range of technology vendors allows customers to choose the solutions that make the most sense for them, giving them the flexibility to tailor their cloud environment. RBC Capital Markets analyst Matt Hedberg inquired, Todd, how can we unlock the potential of legacy identity access management replacement in terms of new logo growth? Todd McKinnon replied, the biggest opportunity for Okta is the mass migration of companies to cloud-based security and identity solutions. We focus our strategy on companies undergoing change, such as those adopting apps, cloud infrastructure or M&A activity, as these are catalysts for adoption. Our success comes from having great products and services to offer when customers are ready. Ultimately, this shift to cloud-based security and identity solutions is inevitable, and we will be there to provide a solution when they make that move. AllianceBernstein analyst Peter Weed inquired, "What is giving you a sense of optimism to raise your full-year guidance and anticipate quarter-over-quarter acceleration in the second half?" Brett Tai replied, "We are being prudent with our guidance in light of the current macroeconomic environment. Our execution has been strong and we are taking into consideration both the positive performance of our business and the effect of the macro climate when formulating our guidance." Oppenheimer and Company analyst Param Singh inquired, "What percentage of your 18,000 customers currently use both the customer identity and workforce clouds? Do you have any insight into the cross-sell potential between these two products?" Todd McKinnon replied, "I believe the opportunity is immense. Our 18,000 customers have the potential to leverage customer identity and workforce identity solutions. These products have the capability to drive success for many quarters to come." Oppenheimer and Company analyst Param Singh inquired, "What percentage of growth has been observed in the last quarter?" Todd McKinnon replied, "We've done extensive research into our 18,000 customers to understand the potential of customer identity. It's not an exact science due to the varying nature of digital transformation across industries, but we know enough to identify a significant opportunity if we execute well." Oppenheimer and Company analyst Param Singh inquired, "Question, do you believe the restructuring you completed in the first quarter has optimized your organization, or is there still potential for further improvements?" Todd McKinnon replied, "Looking to improve it. We believe our plan is sound and will lead to profitable growth. We are continually striving to optimize it." Todd McKinnon replied, "Yes, absolutely. We appreciate you joining us for today's meeting and we look forward to seeing you at the upcoming Mizuho Cyber Summit virtual event on June 12th. We'll also be participating in several bus tours this June if you'd like to get an up-close look at our business. Don't hesitate to reach out with any follow-up questions via email at thank you all for being here.